Hi, welcome to the third session of SAP FICO training. Today's topic is General Ledger Accounting. General Ledger Accounting, which is basically used for a comprehensive picture for external accounting reports. As you have already learned in your books, in your theory parts as well as in your practical parts, that whatever accounting we does, every values are stored in the ledger account, and this is these ledger accounts only on the basis of which our financial statements of any organization has been prepared. Whatever you record as a business transactions will be recorded in your ledgers. So that is why it has been said that the general ledger accounting is a comprehensive picture of your external accounting, that is the financial statements or cash flow statement. This is general ledger where all your business transactions are recorded, which is fully integrated with all other operational areas of an organization or which we say in SAP as company code. It makes sure that the accounting data are always complete and accurately filled and posted. So general ledger accounting is a very important part for accounting, and that is why it is the first essential submodule of FICO module. Now in general ledger accounting we will be covering the above point in today's training. First is how to create the chart of account, creating account group, document splitting for GL account, define retained earning account, maintain number range, creation of GL master, and unit testing. Now let's come up one by one with these points. First is the chart of account. Chart of account contains the definitions of all GL account in an order form. Each general ledger is set up according to a chart of account. Many company codes may have the same chart of account if they wishes to. All group organizational units use the same chart of account. In simple terms, we can say that chart of account contains the list of all the GL account, which is termed as ledger accounts, that are used by any company or legal entity in a practical world. Chart of account contains the structure and the basic information about the GL master. For each GL account, the chart of account contains the account number, account name, and the technical information about the GL account. Technical information basically refers to who created the GL, what was the date on which it was been created, what are the different changes which took place in the ledger account. So to contain all the list of ledgers, you need a chart of account to be assigned to a company code. That is why for each company code in SAP, a chart of account has to be assigned. You can use the same chart of account with multiple other company codes as well, depending upon the requirements. Now take up a practical example. You have got two different company codes. One is termed as 1100 as it is in the screen, and another one is 1200. You can have the same chart of account as 1000 as 1000 for both the company codes, and if you want, you can have two different chart of account separately for both the company codes. Why we have the same chart of account and we prefer to have the same chart of account is, if you got the same chart of account, you can have a consolidated reports for both the company codes as a whole or as a group, you can say. So you can have a corporate group reports or corporate group financial statements or collection reports or sales reports or revenue reports kind of a things. So having the same chart of account make it simpler for you to have consolidated reporting in SAP. But in case you have got separate chart of account for them, it will be difficult to have the reporting. That is why we prefer to use the same chart of account if it is in the same country for all the company codes or all the different organizational units for that particular group. Coming up next, chart of account are basically of three types. First, operative chart of account. Second, country specific chart of account. And group chart of account. When we start working in SAP, we need to create a chart of account which has to be assigned to the company code, and that chart of account is termed as operative chart of account. Why? Because it is operative chart of account which contains the day-to-day activities of the organization, which means day-to-day business transactions, daily postings related to all the business transactions, and on the basis of that all the transactional values are updated in the ledger account. So you need an operative chart of account which is a must for any company code or legal entity. So it is a mandatory part. You must have it. Second is the country specific chart of account. When a big group or MNC have businesses all around the world, they need to follow different countries' legal requirement. Every country has got their own legal rules and regulations, and every legal entity has to follow it. So to have that, we create a country chart of account from country to country. But it is an optional part depending upon the kind of a business you have. Third is group chart of account. Suppose you have created separate chart of account for your different company codes, and now you want to have a group reporting. For those cases, we assign a group chart of account to both the respective chart of account which are separate, and we consolidate as a group chart of account and can have reports on the basis of that, consolidated reports or group wise reports for the financial statements or for any other purposes related to accounts or external reporting. A chart of account defines what will be the code or the length of character for every GL account. In SAP, every ledger or a GL has been given a unique number. That number could be of 1 digit or maximum 10 digits, means 10 characters. It depends upon client to client how much characters they want. It may be a 4 character, it could be a 6 character, it could be 8 or 10 or any as you want, in even or in odd digits. It's up to the client requirement. So you cannot have a more than 10 character length for the ledger, and this particular length, whether it will be a 10 character or a 7 character or a 6 character, is defined in the chart of account while creating it. So it has to be taken care. So we will be looking after this later on when we will be doing the configuration in the SAP system, how this chart of account is prepared and where we put the length of GL account number in it. Moving up to the next point, that is the account group. Now, account group controls the data that need to be entered at the time of master record creation. Account group exists for the definition of GL account, vendor, customer, master, etc. So what we do in this is we create group. Similar groups are created so as to have a simple understanding and recognition for it. Could be easy to recognize which group refers to which, and it becomes easier for reports, for reporting and all. So more or less, account group is a classifying feature within the GL master account master record. Account group controls the number range and creation of GL master within the specific number range. Predefine a number interval for similar GL master records, and GL master with same number interval are created in the same account group. So more or less, in order to arrange and manage a large number of ledger account groups are created in SAP system. In practical world, if you go anywhere, any other accounting software, there are huge list of ledger account, and if you want to group them on different parameters or on different groups, like you want to group the cash ledger as a group, bank ledger as different group, customer or vendor as a different group, asset as a different group, liability as a different, revenue and expenses as a different group. That means that if you create these groups, means their numbering should be same, their number range, GL number range should be same in the same sequence means. So that is what is created in with the help of account group. Account group basically controls the number range and creation of GL master. In this, we group the financial statement in different groupings. Like financial statement, there is a balance sheet and a profit income statement. In balance sheet, we can group one as asset, another as a liability, just like as in the diagram as on the screen. Asset has been numbered as from 1 to 19999, and liability has been given a number range from 2 to 29999. So this range is what can be easily identified when we are working on the SAP system. Practically we can easily identify that anything which is starting with 1 is related to an asset, and 2 is related to a liability, and 3 is income, and 4 is respectively expenses. So it becomes easier. That is why we make the grouping in, and that is what is account group is all about. You can further subgroup these groups as well if you want to. You can break these groups to further groups as well. Like in practical world, assets are further grouped like current assets and non-current assets. If you want further, you can subdivide the current assets as bank group is different, cash group could be different, and customers group could be different, and remaining all other are put up in as other current assets. So if you want, you can group those part as well as a sub part of assets, and their number ranges could be assigned from and to, and those assets, those particular ledgers for those groups will be created with that particular numbers. So it is easier for identification, it is easier for having the reports like financial statements if we have got these groups. Now once the groupings are done, then we move on to the splitting for GL account. Now as we have seen, that in the account group we just group that as an asset or a liability or a revenue or income. But how the SAP system will decide that a particular group range will be a part of balance sheet or an income statement? That is where the document splitting comes in. To create the financial statement at company code level at any time, every GL account is assigned to an item category. item categories are standard from the SAP system. You cannot create of your own. These are defined from the in the software itself. Now, how it works? When we've created the groups, account group, those account groups are assigned with an item category, and these item category are related with asset, liability, revenue or expenses. And on the basis of this item category, the system decides whether it will be a part of balance sheet or an income statement, and it automatically it sync the system accordingly and update the values for the financial statement as well. So an item category is a very important part in this, on the basis of which when we post any of the business transactions, the values are updated for the financial statement, and you can have the financial statement at any time, so as to have a look of your financial positions and what is the revenue and incomes around. Next is retained earning. Assign a retained earnings account to each profit and loss account by specifying a profit and loss statement account type in the chart of accounts area of each profit and loss account in SAP. Multiple profit and loss account can also be assigned. Each GL account will be assigned to only one retained earning account. At fiscal year end, the system carries forward the profit and loss account to retained earning account. Now, in this case, what we do is we assign a ledger account as a retained earning ledger, so that the system could calculate what is the profit or loss at the end of the year. So that is what it is all about, is assigning a retained earning account to profit and loss. So assigning a GL or a ledger so that the system could decide what will be the profit and what will be the losses at the end of the year. That means SAP gives you the flexibility so as to have the retained earning calculated automatically, and as the year ends you can have a look at your profitability. Moreover, if you want to assign more than one retained earning ledger, even you can do that. Each ledger which you what I can say is, each ledger which is a part of income statement will be assigned to one retained earning account. So when we create the ledger master, at that point of time we select the options of profit and loss or balance sheet, which we will see in the coming slides, and on the basis of that selection, whether it is a profit and loss or a balance sheet, the system decides their values to be updated in balance sheet or income statement. So retained earning is more of assigning a ledger, a retained earning ledger, for profit and loss calculations at the end of the fiscal year. General Ledger Master. In General Ledger Master, a data record containing information that controls how data is entered into a GL account and how that account is managed. This includes, for example, the currency in which an account is managed. General Ledger Master Record controls entry of data or posting of business transactions to the ledger account. Now whenever you or we do any business transactions related to ledger, customer, vendor or asset, we need to create their master records so as to give them an identity, and on the basis of that only later only you can do the transactions for them. So first you need to create the ledger master, and then only the business transactions can be done on those ledger masters. For example, I need to post a transaction or a business transaction for cash purchases. In that case, there are two different ledger accounts being connected. One is a cash account and another is a purchase account. Now you need to create this two ledger, cash account and purchase account ledger master. Until you create the ledger master for these two, you cannot do any business transaction in SAP. So for each ledger, you need to create their ledger masters, and then only you can do the business transactions. That is why we have not started the business transaction yet. We are just configuring the system for the transactions. Number range. Number range determines the account document number. Every posting in the system is done through a document. There are two types of number assignment. One is internal number assignment, occurs automatically in the R3 system, that is SAP system. External number assignment is performed by the user. Number range is basically refers to the voucher number. When we do business transactions in real life in different other software, whenever you post any of the business transactions, a number is been provided that is termed as the voucher number, which we refer for anything in the future so as to identify which business transactions it was. In SAP, for every business transaction, a number is generated that is termed as accounting document number, or you can say otherwise voucher number. And this particular number can only be generated when you do the business transaction. The document is posted. The transaction which is posted is termed as a document, and the document have got a number. So the number range determines the voucher number or the accounting document number along with the fiscal year for the audit trial that is used in the system. So all this accounting which we does in this SAP system is basically for external reporting, and major part of it is for financial statements and for auditing and all. The process by which numbers are allocated to business objects. There are two types of number assignment. One is internal number, where we define a range to the system, and every time a document or a business transactions take place, the system automatically gives you a number for the same, and it cannot be repeated in any case. Whereas external number is where we don't give an internal number range, but the user who will be posting the business transaction or who will be doing the business transaction can give his own number to that particular document or the voucher as he wishes to. But in a practical scenario, always an internal number is preferred, because you never have the time to maintain the number, external number somewhere with you, or at times you may not be remembering what was the last external number which you used, and even it happens that at times we repeat the same number again and again as well, and in that case there will be a lot of problems to the organization if you are using the same document number or same number for number of business transactions, and you could be penalized for such things. So better is always to go with internal number assignment, and that is what is 100% done by every organization or a client. Company code. So we created the number range. You can see the screen. These are the different number range which have been assigned in the SAP system, which we will be doing in the practical part in SAP screen itself. Now over here you can see the number range have been assigned from, number from, and number to, where a serial number has been provided as number range 01, 19, 15, 17, and every range have been given a description. 01 refers to ledger, general ledger. Any business transaction which is ledger to ledger, the number range is 1 from 199999. Same way, if you are doing any vendor invoice postings or any vendor invoice business transactions, the range is different. For vendor payment, the range is different. So they are different. If you want, you can have a different number range, and even if you want to repeat the same range and you want to use the same range for two different business transactions, two different nature of business transactions, you can use the same as well. So SAP provides you both the options. You can take the same range for all the nature of transactions, and if you want, you can segregate on the basis of the nature of transactions. That means I can have a different range for vendor invoice, I can have a different range for vendor payment. As you can see on the screen, I can have a different range for or number range or document number range for customer invoice and customer payment. For accounting asset, again a different range is there. For depreciation, there is a different range. So the range, the accounting or the voucher number varies, and on the basis of this, it becomes easier for identifying what kind of a transaction that particular has happened on that particular document number. So a number range have been assigned, and you have to do that, otherwise you cannot proceed ahead. Now moving up to the, we have covered all the points, and now we will be moving up in the SAP system. We'll be doing each and every configuration one by one. The configuration of steps are as here. First we will be creating the chart of account, then we have to assign that particular chart of account to company code, creating account group, document splitting for GL account, defining retained earning account, maintain number range, creation of GL master records, and unit testing. So as we have already discussed these points, last is unit testing. Unit testing basically refers to when you do all your configuration and customizations, we do the testing whether the configurations and everything has been done correctly or not. So if your business transactions we will be doing under unit testing, and if those business transactions are posted correctly, that means our configurations are successful. So let's move to the SAP screen where we will be doing these configurations one by one. So moving up to the configuration steps, first is creating chart of account. As we already discussed, we need to create a chart of account so as to define the ledgers and their numbers, and this is the chart of account which contain all the list of ledger accounts. So in SAP when you work, there are two wayouts to do the configurations. One is, as we did in the last session, that we can go through the path and we can do the configuration, and the second part is a shortcut, that is the T code, that is transaction code. So now we will be working with both interchangingly, and at times we will be using directly the transaction code, but you have got the path with you. If you want, you can go directly with the path, or if you want a shortcut to save time, you can go for the transaction code. but being as a consultant, you must always know the path how to proceed. Never go for the shortcuts at the beginning, always take the longer one so as to understand fully how you can reach. At times, uh, there are thousands of transaction codes in SAP for FICO module, but you cannot remember all the transaction codes. That is why we always say that one should always go through the path, because path is something which can easily understand how to reach to which particular point. But transaction code is something which will be difficult to remember every time. You will be able to learn these transaction codes slowly with the number of project and experience you will gain. So the first is the chart of account, in which you can see the path is IMG. You have to go to the IMG screen in the SAP system, and then we move to the financial accounting new. So let's come up with the in the SAP screen itself like this. As we already said, all the configurations are done with the transaction code SPRO, as we have done in the last session, that SPRO is a very important transaction code. Over here you have to run this transaction code SPRO, and you can click on the enter. Now you can use the enter on your keyboard, or otherwise you can use this particular button as enter as well. Once you enter, you move to the next screen where the SAP reference IMG, which is referred to implementation guide. Now we can click on this, as the slide shows that first is you have to go to the IMG, then financial accounting new. So we move to the IMG, and now we will be moving to financial accounting new, expanding. Now next is general ledger accounting new. Now over here the general ledger accounting new is here, expanding. Now moving next to master data, and from master data to GL account. Now master data, from master data to GL accounts, and in GL account you can see preparations and then edit chart of account list. So we'll go to the preparations part, clicking expanding preparations, and now you can see the edit chart of account list as mentioned on your presentation screen. So you can click on this particular icon, explore it, and you can see this is the list of chart of account which have been already created in SAP system. Now over here we will be creating our own chart of account. So we'll first go to the new option, new entries. So as to create a new chart of account, click on new entries. Now over here you can put the chart of account as we have seen in the screen earlier, that we have taken up as 1000 as a chart of account for 1100 company code and for 1200. If you could remember, our company code in the last session was 1200, and we will be using the same company code number for rest of all the screens for all the training part. So you must remember what company code we had in the last session. So we'll be creating the chart of account as 1000 in the SAP system. So the chart of account code you have to put up over here is 1000, and over here you can write the description, chart of account for company code 1200. And if you want to use it for number of company codes, then you can remove it from over here, and you can refer the group name in that case, like chart of account IBM, because my group was IBM which I created. my company code was IBM. Suppose now chart of account is IBM. Now over here you have to select the language. So my language is English, so I can go over here and select English over here. So we selected the maintain language as English. Now the length of the GL account number, as already discussed, GL account number is what identified with a unique number, and that number is what is identified or has to be assigned over here, that how much length of that number will be a 2-digit number or a 4 or 6 or what. The maximum it can have is a 10 characters. So over here I am taking up as 6 as the GL account number, and later on for your practical training purpose you can have it 6 or 8 or 10 as you wishes up to. So length of GL account is important. Next is controlling integration. When you go to controlling integration, you can see there are two options over here, and there is a third option as blank as well. If I want, I can put it as blank, but you cannot take blank. You must have to take either of these two, any of them. Now manual creation of cost element and automatic creation of cost element is related to controlling module. So we'll not be discussing much about it over here, but what you can do over here is you should take the manual creation of cost element, and it is suggested to have manual creation of cost element only. Never take the actual creation, always have the manual creation of cost elements. Group chart of account. If you want to have a group, in that case you can assign the group chart of account over here. You can do the have function 4 key on your keyboard. You can press that, or you can go from over here and you can have a look what are the different group chart of accounts are there in SAP system. So you can see these are the different, with which chart of account you want to group, you can select that. Right now I have not created any, and this is the optional part, so I will not be taking it up over here. Moving up, save. So we can go to save option and we can save our part. Once you will save the chart of account, it will be saved with the request number. So we'll be clicking on this green tick and the data was saved. That means our chart of account 1000 has been created. Now going back, you can see the chart of account is reflected over here. So this was moving up with the path. Now if I want to go with the transaction code directly, I can also move with the transaction code. So for that I need to come out. So to come out of this particular screen to the main screen, you have to put /n. /n is to enter the present screen, to move out of the present screen and to get on the main screen of the SAP system, that is SAP Easy Access screen, the main screen. Now we can go to the transaction code OB13 without path. OB13 and then enter. Now you can see the screen is already there and your 1000 chart of account is already created. In case I have to create new, I can go again to the new with the transaction code, and if I want to see my chart of account, what are the details I have filled up in my chart of account, I can double click on this particular part and it can show me the details of the chart of account. So my chart of account 1000 is have the length of the GL account is 4 and the controlling integration is manual creation for cost elements. So we can go back If you want, you can make some changes now, but once you move ahead and you start doing the business transactions, you cannot change these tabs. You cannot change the length of GL account number, mind it. Moving back, so the chart of account is created. Now we can move to the next screen, is assigning chart of account to company code. So as said, one chart of account has to be assigned to the company code, and the chart of account we just created and will be assigning to the company code is what is termed as operative chart of account, and this chart of account will be used for day-to-day business transactions in the organization. So there is a shortcut as well over here for this, and it is OB62. If you want, we can go to this and we can use OB62 directly. There is one way out, is to go to OB62 and search your company code. Our company code was 1200, if you remember. Enter. That is it. Over here I have to assign my chart of account. You can see CHRT/ACCTS, that means the chart of account, and if you remember it, it's alright. Otherwise you can go and you can search for your own chart of account with it. So our chart of account is 1000. Double click on it and it will be selected. So you can say 1000 has been selected, and you can save it and it will be saved. So right now I am not saving it. I have just shown you that we have went over here assigning the company code with the chart of account with the transaction code. That is the shortcut way out. Let's go with the path, SPRO. So I am putting up as /n to get out of this present screen and directly to move up to the next screen, that is SPRO. So you can have /n plus the transaction code so as to jump from one main screen to your next another screen. Enter. Now you can go to the IMG screen. Then we will be moving up to the financial accounting new. Now whatever we will be doing in the financial accounting new only, because we are in the SAP FI module as of now, and this is what is related to SAP FI module. Expanding. Then we have to go to the general ledger accounting. As you can see in the screen, first we have to go to the financial accounting new, then we will be moving to the general ledger accounting, and then we will be moving to the master data. So we will be moving over here to general ledger accounting. So moving up, exploring the master data, expanding the master data, then we'll move to the GL account, expanding it. As in the screen you can see the path is from master data to general account GL accounts, and then from there to preparations, and then to assign company code to chart of account. So we are over here to GL. Now we'll expand the preparations option, and you can see there is an assign company code to chart of account option is there. Now execute it, and you can see these are the various options. So to search for your company code, you can go to this position and you can put your own company code over here, enter, and on the top your company code has been over here reflected. Now over here you can take up over here your own chart of account. If not, you can search the options from over here. What was your chart of account in case you don't remember the code? So where we can select this 1000 is a chart of account. We can select this on double click, and then once you have selected, you have to click on the save option so that the company code can be linked to the chart of account. So click on the save option and your chart of account has been created. and in that case you can select on so that the configuration can be taken up on this particular request. Clicking on to the continue option, and you can see the data was saved, means your company code has been assigned to the chart of account. So in this way you have to create your own chart of account, and later on you have to assign your own chart of account to the company code. Both the options are there to work with the path as well as the transaction code, as we just seen on screen. The next is creating account group. Again, uh, creating account group, there are two options, either to go with the path or to go with OBD4. So now I will be using directly the short form, that is I will be going directly with the transaction code OBD4. So you can continue with /n. /n is used to exit the present screen, and if the transaction code has been followed by it, that means it will take you to that particular transaction code screen. So selecting and putting up over here and then putting enter on it will take you to the account group screen. Sorry, the screen is somewhere logged, just give me a minute. Let's start again. OBD4. Okay, enter. So this takes me to the screen of GL account group. Now you can see over here number of chart of accounts are already created and different groups are there, like fixed asset group is there, profit and loss, liquid fund, general ledger fund, material management, reconciliation account. So it varies from client to client what kind of a groups they want for their own organization and how they want these to be taken up so that their reportings can be done accordingly. So this is what will be provided to you through the client, but you need to explain the client the concept, then only they will be able to give you the groupings of their financial statements in which they want to divide it. So over here, to create the account group, we will be moving to the new entries part. Click on the new entries, and you can see a new screen has came up with you, and it is totally blank. So you need to fill it with your chart of account first, that is 1000. Then second is your account group. Now account group basically is the sub part, or you can say the short name of your name, account group name. So over here in account group you need to fill a maximum of 4 character. It will not take beyond that. So suppose I take it as ASST, and this basically means the description can be written over here, that is assets. Now if you want to create your account group, let's move to the same screen as we did. So a while back we discussed about the account group. Now this account group is what we will be creating in the system. So moving up over here, for assets I will be assigning the range from this to this, that is 1 5 times 0 to 1 99999. So this is what I assigned for assets. In the same way you can assign for liabilities, and for liabilities suppose I take it as LIAB as a short form, and a long form I can write it over here as liabilities in full, and I will be taking liabilities with the initials as 2. So it will be 200000 to 299999. Same way I will be putting up for income. And for income, as in the screen, the range is with the initial is 3, so I will be taking it as 30000023999999. Same way we'll be moving to the expense part. Now moving to the expenses, it is initial is 4 to 499999. So once you have named this group, you can save it. But mind it, this is the groups which it basically means I have divided my financial statements into these 4 groups. If you want, you can group your financial statement in n number of groups. It's depending upon your requirement, how you want and how you take your account group to be. So that is it is all about. If you want, you can divide your groups. Even you can divide your assets in different parts, like current assets or non-current asset. Current assets can further be grouped, subgrouped as cash account could have a different range group, bank account could have a different range group, sundry debtors could have a different range group, and the rest can be given as non-current assets. So in the same way, you can divide your non-current assets, other current assets, and in the same way you can divide your non-current assets or your liabilities and income and expenses. So this is what you have to do, and once you have created these groups, you can save it over here. Once you save, your account group is created, and that is what you have to save in this in the request. So this is what has been created over here. So moving to the next is to come back to the main screen, and now we can move to the next step, that is document splitting. Now for document splitting, there is no transaction code, you have to go with the path. So let's go with the path. To start with the path, first I have to run the transaction code as PRO, enter. Now I will go to the IMG screen, then to the financial accounting new, and then as per this particular path, general ledger accounting new, and then to the business transactions. So general ledger accounting new, expend, business transaction expending, and then to document splitting, and then to classify GL account for document splitting. So over here, document splitting, expend, then to classify the GL accounts for document splitting. So over here you have to explore, click on the symbol and it will take you to the next screen. Over here you have to fill your own chart of account. Now you can see the screen which comes up in front doesn't have any data on a screen. This is what you have to create, because this is our configuration. That means every configuration has to be created by us. So going to the new entries part, click on the new entries, and now you need to fill the account from and to again for all the account group we just created. So there are 2 options, either to fill it manually or to go to the account group where we just created, and we can directly copy those numbers from there to here. So we'll be going to a new screen with this option over here. Click on this and a new session, a new screen will be presented, and this screen will be in text. So going to the new session, run the transaction code OBD4 for account group. As we can check, in this, that the account group have the transaction code OBD4. So moving up over here, we can run the transaction code OBD4, enter, and it will take you to the account group. Now over here you can see our chart of account was 1000, which we just created, and the groups which created were asset, expenses, income, and liabilities. Now over here we can copy this group from and to, which we need in the document splitting part. How can we copy? First you need to press Ctrl Y as you will select Control Y, you can see the cursor symbol will change. So it became a plus sign now. Once you got this plus sign, then put on from where you want to copy and drag it till the data you need to copy. Once you dragged, leave it and press Ctrl C. Once you do the Ctrl C, it will be, the data will be copied, and now you can move to your next screen to this, and you can Control V over here, and the data will be copied. So that has been done from there to here, and now we'll be, as we discussed in when we are discussing the topic of document splitting, that the account groups are assigned with item categories, and this is the item category which decides that which account group will go to whether the balance sheet or the income statement. So to select the item category, will be over here in this particular category option. As you can see, now we'll be looking after to the option which we have to select. As you remember, the initials 1 starting with from this to this is for assets, so we'll be selecting first the options related to assets. Let's have a look. Now in this you can see there is a balance sheet account option, zero balance, company code clearing, cash account. In the same way there are a lot more. There is an asset option over here as well, but mind it, this particular 7000 asset refers to fixed assets, not all assets. So we cannot take this as an asset over here. So what can I take is balance sheet account. There is no other options for me. So if there is no other option, you have to take the balance sheet account. So double click on the balance sheet and it will get selected. Same way for liabilities, it was from beginning with the initials as 2. You can see over here as 2 for liability. So going to the liability part, again over here you can look after to the options if there is any liability option is there. You can see there are certain more options: cash, customer, vendor, cash account, withholding tax, taxes, material, assets, but these are subgroups of it. I cannot take any of these as a total liability. So for total liability group, I have to go to the asset balance sheet account again. So select the balance sheet account. Now we'll be moving to the next is initial as 3, and the initial with 3 was referred to as income. So we'll be going to over here again to the options, and you can see for income there is an option of revenue in it, and we'll be selecting the revenue for income, as that is the sources of revenue for the company. And then the 4 starting with 4 digit are related to expenses. So we'll be going for the options and we'll be selecting the expenses from over here. So once these all things have been selected, your document splitting is ready. This part is the most important part, because on the basis of this only the system updates the values to the financial statements. From here, with the help of the item category, the system decides that the ledger account with 1 is marked with the balance sheet, so the balances will go to the balance sheet. The ledger account with 2 is with balance sheet, and 3 and 4 is with income statement, and accordingly that has been assigned as a revenue or income. Revenue and expenses. So once these have been assigned, you can save this and your document splitting will be done. So click on the save option and you can see all the settings have been copied to the request, and selecting OK has been saved. Now one thing in it is left, that is, what is this middle column is all about. The middle column refers to override. Override means when you want to override the item category for the account numbers. So in that case you can select this. If you have any doubt further, there is an option to put the cursor over here and you can go to F1. F1 is for help, and when you put on F1, the system will give you certain informations related to that particular field. This category is used to specify whether the internal derivation of internal item categories should be overridden in document splitting by derivation of by accounts. So it gives you a brief about what it is all about, but we will not be taking it as override because we have to take it with item categories so that it can be properly taken up to the financial statement. So once this has been done, you have saved already the data, so your document splitting has been done. Okay, yes, done, data was saved. So your document splitting is over. Moving up to the next is defining retained earning account. So to define retained earning account, we have to go to OB53. So moving up OB53, how we can move directly to OB53? We can put /n to exit the screen and OB53 to enter OB53 screen directly. Moving over here, again you have to put your chart of account. Everywhere you will see that the chart of account has been asked because chart of account is the one which contain all the list of ledgers. That's why it's important to have the chart of account filled. Now moving up to the next is assigning retained earning GL. Now the screen is reflected to you over here. We have to create a variant in this part. We have to name a variant as XYZ or ABC something. So all you have to do is to create a variant ID in this particular configuration, and where the GL account or the ledger account will be assigned for a profit and loss account. So I just defined the variant as suppose X. So against the variant as X, you have to assign a ledger account or a GL account, and the GL account or the ledger, you can say, will be belonging to general ledger account. Now what number will you assign over here? If you go to your account group, retained earning belongs to which particular head of these? Retained earning basically belongs to liabilities. So in that case, I have to assign a number range, a ledger number from this particular group, that is from 20000 to 299999. So suppose I assign the GL as 200000 as retained earning account. You must not forget it because you have to assign this GL over here. So enter X in profit and loss statement, enter the account number for retained earning account, and then we can click on enter, and you can see now we can go to the save option and we can save, so that the setting can be saved in the request. Okay, so you can see the changes have been made. That means the variant has been created, and in the variant the ledger has been assigned. Once the variant the ledger have been assigned over here as 25 times 0, this means that all the profit calculated against expenses and revenue will be reflected in this particular account. So once you assign this particular number over here, you need to create this ledger also, that is a retained earning account. So do not forget it. We will be creating this ledger in a while when we will be moving to the next screen as GL master. So saved. Okay, we have already saved it, no changes were done, so we can go back and our retained earning configuration has been done successfully. So once this has been created, now moving up to the next screen on the PPT presentation. Now retained earning has been defined. The next is maintaining the number range. So maintaining the number range, the shortcut is FBN1, and the long way out, the path is financial accounting new to financial accounting global setting, then to document number range, and then document in entry view. Or the short way out is FBN1. So moving up to FBN1, enter. Now over here you have to assign the company code. The company code is 1200. Now there are options. One is as display, one is as change, and one is as to create new one. So we'll be clicking on this change interval option, and you can see the number range is blank over here. So we have to go to this interval to insert the number range. Click on this, and you can see a new thing has came up, pop up, a new. Now over here you have to fill it. Number means the serial number as 01. Year over here refers to the fiscal year for which you are configuring the system for. I am configuring the system for 2014, so we'll be putting up the fiscal year as 2014, and over here you will be giving the document number from and to. Now it is up to you how you will be giving this number, what number you want to give it. It's up to you. Suppose I give the number as 1 6 times 0. On this side I give it as 1 009999. So this is my first number range. The serial number is 01, the fiscal year is 2014, and the range is from 1 million to 1,09,999. And after putting up this range, you can select this option as insert. But before that, you can see there is an option of over here as ext, means external. If you want your number range to be external, and every time you post a business transaction, you pass a business transaction in the system, you need your own document number which you want, you can fill it with this. For that you have to mark it over here so that the system could take the external number. But it is preferred to have an automatic generated number through this SAP system, so we will not be doing that. Now once this has been done, we will be click over here as insert. Once you will insert, that particular line will be entered over here as interval in the system. So once it has been entered, save it. Now this is the number which you have assigned from and to will be number which will be given as a voucher number or a document number when you pass any of the business transactions. Creation of GL master records. Now this we will be covering up in the next session with the unit testing part. Thank you.